Warning. Xero style is known to cause gas or gear acquisition syndrome. Prolonged exposure to me and my vlog may cause you to buy knives, flashlights, patches, pouches, pocket trash, and other EDC junk you may or may not need. You've been warned. Welcome to Xero Style. I am your host, Xero, the cyberspace hero, here to show you the AGP, the all good pouch from Notorious EDC, the multicam black Cordura edition. I've got a blackout patch theme as well as an assortment of monochromatic gear for this thematic pouch stuff. So strap in, it's time to take a peek at what I've got in the pouch this week. You'll note that the multicam extends all the way from every inch of the exterior of the pouch, even onto the web loop. Everything about this pouch has that multicam black aesthetic to it, and it just very well thought out and put together. Because of that, I feel like this pouch does a great job with a blackout selection of patches. So guess what? I'm going to show off a monochrome setup for yins this week. The Ranger Eye and Vandal Eye patch selection this week. From maulini Mob EDC, we got the Blackout Maracinco logo, the Datacrew Comfy Reaper, Upside Down Misfortune Cat from Playge or Furbag, the oegedc Blackout Ghost and OEG logo, the EDC Booze Pentagram. Anybody ever watch Disenchantment by the creator of Futurama and The Simpsons? Yeah, this is Lucy from that show, the malevolent/benevolent sidekick. We've also got Toxic Patchco's, Big Black Boo, another Plague Skull, and from EDC Booze, the Blackout Hate Ghost. To complete this monochrome setup, this is a nice big thick pouch that you can totally kit out with all of the gear that you'll need for the day. This is not the kind of pouch that you put in your pocket. This is the kind of pouch that you put in another bag or carry like a clutch. There are loop hooks here on the side. They perfectly accommodate a carabiner, like this one here from Tom Bin that swivels on both ends. You can easily attach it to both sides and put a strap on this if you wanted to try and carry it like a crossbody, though this is a pretty small bag to be carrying that way, but maybe you want to. These loops, as tricky as it is to get them to go all the way through, do work quite well with a keyring style keychain attached to the side of them. I've got this super limited edition 52 Graves keychain that I don't think I've ever shown off on this channel. This was a collab with On Black and just came as a random gift from my dude over there. That definitely adds to your ability to kind of wield this pouch a little bit differently and hold on to a lanyard instead of necessarily grabbing the whole pouch. Adding a keychain or a lanyard like this onto one of these loops just adds to the carryability of this pouch and shows the versatility of how you can set it up. I've personally never rocked it with a handle like this on the outside, I'll be honest with you. But I was just showing off this is another way you could possibly carry this if you're into it. And I love this little keyring thing, just I don't put it on this pouch. This is a all-white PVC one-eyed ghost bead from oegedc. And then this is a Plague and Coke Tools collab skull. Perfect zipper pulls for this pouch. They make it much easier to use than the YKK zips that come on this, though the stitching is absolutely impeccable for where the zippers are. I just don't like a lot of jangling when it comes to my pouches. Exterior dimensions of this pouch are 4x6. The internal dimensions are not listed. It's using Cordura branded fabrics. The stitching is absolutely impeccable on every little edge, everywhere. Very nice. Now, this pouch is a little bit thick because I have it absolutely packed to the brim. This is one of those pouches that is very stretchy. You can absolutely put a ton of stuff in these pockets and make this as thick as you want it to be. There is an internal pocket here. And I just showed you there's an external pocket here on the back, and then the main pocket here. On the inside, there are a number of these elastic webs that have another set on top of each of them to give you additional organizational dividers. If you want to put something deep inside, you want to stretch it out and put it in the front. It's very versatile. I don't think organizational systems are easy to do inside pouches, but I think that this elastic web with another set of loops with just a series of stitching dividers on them works really well. And I think that this pouch is probably the best execution of that I have seen of any of the pouches in my collection. I think that this is a very, very nice pouch all around, the AGP from Notorious EDC. Alright, now onto the gear. I already gave you a little peek at the knife, so I'm going to show it to you a little bit more now. From Damn Designs. This is the full blackwashed titanium edition djinn. This is one of his smaller knife designs, and if you know me and a fan of this channel, thank you for subscribing first of all, and you know that I love tiny, tiny knives. This guy is a front flipper primarily. You can use it with your index finger, you can use it with your thumb, you can do that little index finger cross roll over with this guy. It's also got sort of like a spidey hole. You're not supposed to call it that if it's not a spider co, but yeah, it's got a little hole on the blade. Perfectly easy to do a middle finger flick deployment on the back side of this knife. Thumb flick on that hole, on the other hand, is a lot trickier because of the front flipper tab that's right here. When you go to do a thumb flick on this, that flipper tab gets right in the way of your index finger, and there's just not an easy way to grip it to do a thumb flick to get your hand out of it. It's not easy. But the middle finger flick, no problem whatsoever. Just it's the ergonomics of the knife. Speaking of, I absolutely love this size knife myself. This is a 3-finger plus a lanyard bead grip knife. Gives you that smaller knife profile when you're actually carrying this thing. The bead can just sort of go whichever way that it needs to. It gives you that little extra purchase when you're taking it out of a pouch or out of your pocket. It gives you a little bit of extra grip when you're actually using the knife. Another thing about this knife that's interesting is this harpoon grind here on the back with some very, very heavy jimping for the style of the thumb flipper that this has. It sticks way out the front and follows the profile all the way up to the harpoon here on the front. So you've got plenty of space for you to do a thumb flick on any part of the surface. And once the knife is deployed, the jimping gives you a great grip with your thumb on the back of the knife or your index finger on the back of the knife. I personally prefer the tip of the finger kind of cuts, just the way I use a knife personally, like a craft knife or a utility knife. So it's easy on my index finger. When I use my thumb for some reason, the harpoon does not feel great when it bumps up onto the edge there. I don't know, maybe I'm just a little bit sensitive on the tip of my thumb. The pivot collars on this knife are super sweet. I really love this octagonal one here on the show side. And of course the scales are this tumbled blackened titanium all the way through. Got a pretty nice clip. It's not super deep carry. It does stick out a decent amount when you've got it in your pocket, but I carry this thing in a pouch. So for me, that's not a deal breaker in any sense. This knife is one of my all-time favorites. I love the shape of this grind here, this drop point. Very nice choil here for sharpening. I've actually sharpened this once or twice, so I'm getting a little bit more confident in my skills. The tip here is the super sharp point that you want it to be on a knife like this. This is a frame lock. If you can't tell by the absolutely beautiful acoustics of this knife, you've heard me say it a number of times before, like in my last video, there's nothing that beats the acoustics of a full frame lock titanium knife, no matter what you do. This knife is super drop shutty. You can get it to flip closed very easily. You can also do one of those dumb flip opens if you're that kind of guy. When I first found out about Damn Designs, this knife just was about to drop. It was like a hype post for this knife, so I got in on the original drop. There have not been a lot of black titanium versions since then, so I'm sorry I'm showing off a super limited knife, but it's one of my favorites. Quick little cut test here on some cardboard. The Damn Designs djinn, a small, little pocket-friendly knife that I just love. Back to the pouch. This knife's really the only thing that I've got on this loop side of this pouch because I've got so much gear over here. But tucked away underneath everything else is a little something from my buddy Will at Maulini Mob EDC. This is the Skellyvamp bottle opener. You can see right here. It's designed for you to put it in your hand like this, grab the bottle, and you've got that leverage very easily to pop a bottle. It's got a little hex bit driver here as well too, but I kind of think that that's more of a lanyard hole personally. This thing has got a solid titanium core and some titanium skeleton accents on the outside. Will says that this is battle finished. I very much enjoy the way that it's all scarred and scraped and has all of those little tumble marks all over the skeleton. The anodization is very dynamic. It's not the same color in all of the spots all over it, though it is just one color. Will makes these guys in a number of sizes. I personally like the smaller size a little bit better for my hand, but this one is definitely cooler and more intricate and has a lot more flair and pizzazz to it. These things are great if you put a lanyard on the back for fidget spinning on your finger. You can do it like this. I mean, obviously I'm doing it, but it's much better if you put a lanyard on this thing, in my opinion. They're great self-defense tools. The little top here is quite sharp. Check out the Maulini oegedc link down in the description below. He does drops all of the time. Check out on his Instagram. Everyone is unique. Everyone is different. They're all just a cool design. So I don't drink, but I do love Mexican food, and Will is all about his heritage. So I'm gonna pop a little bit of everybody's favorite soda to show off this guy just a little bit for yins. Back in the pouch, I just use this little zippered pocket right here. Keep them tucked away and out of sight, out of mind. You'll notice I'm holding this pouch open and nothing is falling out. I definitely dig the organizational setup and how well it works with the gear inside of here. So we just did some pocket trash. Let's go to a more utilitarian tool in this arsenal. This is from Big Eye Design. This is the EDC wrench. This is an adjustable wrench. Just give this a little turn right here, and this front plate moves up and down. Goes all the way from 3/4 to 3/16, from very large to very small. I just used this when I was installing a table. Some bolts on the inside of the table were hard to get to. It was very easy with the bolt there to just kind of reach up with the top of the table above it, get in there, be able to just keep turning it like this and get the thing out far enough that you could use your fingers. This is definitely the kind of tool that works great in recessed areas. It's the kind of thing that has a very thin profile to it. It fits well in a pouch. This guy's got a pocket clip here on the back. It is not even close to deep carry. There was a lanyard that came with it, but believe it or not, I actually took the lanyard off of this thing. It's very lightweight because it's titanium. It works as a pretty good fidget toy too, I have to admit. This thing can just spin around on your finger. You can give it the old back and forth, pull it all cowboy style. And then, yeah, this Swedish-inspired wrench style right here is super smooth, and it stays in place. Once it's there, the play amount is very minimal. You can hear it. The tiniest amount of play. So yeah, this thing works super great, and it's nice and small. If you're the kind of person who works on their bicycle all of the time, this is definitely the kind of wrench for you. From Big Eye Design, the EDC wrench. A Christmas gift from my wife a few years ago. Once again, back in the pouch, just one of these little stretchy dividers right here. You can just pull it out as much as you want to, stretch it right on in there. It fits, and it is not going anywhere. Up next is the flashlight. This is the rovyvon A4 Pro in titanium. If you guys watch this channel, you know all about rovyvon and their lights. Not sponsored. This is my favorite light style. Not necessarily this being my favorite light, but I love a very small light with just one button on it. It isn't insanely bright, but it also isn't dim. Has the ability to put a little lanyard bead on the back, and that's all I really need when it comes to a flashlight. I think that it's a great comparison right here to see it next to a AAA battery. You'll note that the A4 is just a little bit bigger compared to some of my other rovyvons, but it's also brighter than some of my other rovyvons, so it's kind of a trade-off. The USB-C rechargeable edition of their tiny little pocket-friendly flashlight. This guy's got a single button deployment. Hold it, it goes right into turbo, turns off as soon as you release it. Double tap it and it goes into turbo mode. Single click it to get it back down to midnight, then 1, 2, 3 clicks and you're all the way back up to max brightness. Hold it and it turns back off again. Triple tap it and it goes into SOS mode and you can blind attackers allegedly. Never use that feature. This flashlight doesn't have my favorite UI. I think when you double tap it, it should go to moonlight mode and then step its way up. I don't dig that it goes straight to turbo when you double tap it. Compared to a lot of my other lights, this is brighter than the other ones. This one goes all the way up to 600 lumens and will totally illuminate whatever kind of dark situation that you are in. There's no doubt about it, this is a super capable light. Right around the LED, you can notice that there's a reflector that's sort of got a waffle pattern around it. It bounces the light and reflects it all over the place and actually makes the light a little bit more intensely bright than it would have been without that little bit of reflection. Literally, that's the difference between the regular version and the Pro version, is the style of reflector that it has on the inside. The full titanium edition costs a lot more than the other editions. Is it worth it? I don't know. It's very light and it is very sleek. I love the USB-C. It's bright. It's almost too bright if I'm going to complain about my flashlight being too bright. But 600 lumens is a little much. I prefer the 400 lumens with more true color and less of that super blinding brightness that this LED flashlight brings to the table. That being said, I use this light all of the time. I love how lightweight it is. I love the look of it. I love USB-C charging. If you're going to go out in the dark or you're going to need a lot of light in a situation, this is a really good choice. It does get a little bit hot, but it takes a while for it to warm up to that a little bit hot to the touch. I've never actually used it to the point where it was intolerable to hold. The actual max brightness stepped down and heat resolved itself before it got to that point, which is a nice safety feature, but it just means that this light is not going to be as bright for as long compared to some more beefy lights. But that's not what this is for. This is the kind of light that you carry with you when you drop something and you need to find it and it's in the dark. This is the kind of light when you're going under the couch and helping your kids find some stuff. If you're outside and you need to find your dog's poop real quick and grab it. This isn't the kind of light that you take with you hiking and you use it for hours and hours. That's not the tradition of an EDC light in the way that I carry. This light is used maybe once a day when I need it. I charge it once a week or once a month, depending on how often I use each of these lights. This one's been getting less play than some of my other ones, so I've been charging it less, but it's still super bright for how long it's been since I've charged this thing. Of course, I've got a full titanium Playge Sacred Terror skull. This one is done by Justin Koch of Koch Tools and Clay of Playge. Couple extra holes on the forehead for the Sacred Terror aesthetic. USB-C charging, finally. It's a little bit of a plastic cover that covers on the front of it that allows the USB to just pull in and out. The thing that's great about USB-C is you don't even need to look. It's gonna fit. Like, if it doesn't fit the first time, you have your cable misaligned. You just have to try again until you actually get it in there. There's a tiny little status LED that turns blue and it blinks when it's charging, and then it goes to solid blue when the charging is complete. This is a very nice, very small little flashlight, one of my all-time favorites, and it made it into this monochrome setup this week. Little divider right here between the tools. Just find your way in, push, they bend right out of the way. Flashlight slides right in. Right next to the next tool on our list. This was from a Kickstarter company called silexgear. I think they still have some of these on their website. This is the Fix. It is a piece of black aluminum that has storage for 4 bits on either side. On the intersection here, we've got an extendable bit driver that comes out. We've got a slot here in the front for one of those bits, and then the extender. Very small. There's a little bit of noise. The extender doesn't fit perfectly in there. But if you hold that, the bits move a little bit too. So it's not totally silent, but it's pretty good. Pretty good. So the bits here are magnetically stored right on the side. You can see right here there's a little track and a magnet inside. The bits just are the same shape as the track, so they're able to pull themselves in there. The next bit's not going to fall out because that magnet keeps it right into place. You can see here that they ship with hardened wiha bits. They give you a standard size Phillips and flathead, as well as 2 torque size. I remember reading on the Kickstarter they chose the T6 and the T8 because those were quote-unquote the most common knife maintenance torque sizes. Now, notice here, it's a little bit fiddly when you're not looking at it. I'm looking at the camera to get them perfectly aligned. I did it without looking at it, but I had to spin them to be able to get it in. Most jobs, I really just slide the bit out, put it here in the end, rank on the thing, and be done with it. Slide it right back into the holder on the side, and then put it away. Every once in a while, when you got to have that little extra depth, you pull this guy out, slide it into the extender section, put the bit here on the tip, and you've got a little bit of extra length in your screwdriver. Sometimes you get those really stubborn bits, and this measly little grip is not enough torque to get it out. That's the secret of this hex bit that's right here. Pull the extender out and throw it right in here, and now you've got some serious torque and great grip on this device. It is absolutely ambidextrous, just like every screwdriver in the world is. It is perfectly ergonomically designed. I would love to see this made again with some more premium materials and maybe just a little bit more attention to the detail on the size of these, just because there is a tiny little bit of shake still. Besides that, this has like become my EDC screwdriver. As a computer nerd, I find myself needing a screwdriver all of the time. It's one of those tools that comes in my bag, that helps me get a job done that I need to do all of the time. Now, 4 little bits, it's not gonna cut it, man. Especially with the size Phillips and the size flathead that comes with it. Excuse me, the standard and Phillips heads that come with it. So you'll notice right here we've got a lovely zipper pocket on the back, and inside of that we've got my whole bit selection. I got this flexy little bit holder on Amazon. It's just some rubber that allows you to put bits inside of it, and I've got 3 different sets of wiha bits in here. We've got a whole bunch of Phillips, a whole bunch of squares, some standard flatheads, and then a whole array of hex bits. So whatever I need to do in whatever size it needs to be, pretty much got it covered with this kit. Every once in a while you run into some kind of super wacky screw like on a Nintendo game that you need a specialty screwdriver for, and you can't use this. It's just the way it is. Once again, here on the inside of the pouch, just pull that up, slide it into the elastic, and you've got yourself another tool in the arsenal. Now, down here, it's time for some more pocket trash. From the maker of this pouch, Tom at Notorious EDC, comes the Black Micarta Beer Bomb. The beer bomb is a multi-tool that is designed to have a lot of functions. The mouth is functioning as a bottle opener. The nose is a flathead screwdriver. The eye is a 1/4-inch hex bit. On the back we've got a sort of nail puller and then scraper kind of tools here on the edge, as well as a big hole. You could potentially use this as some sort of SFK device, or as I do, as a fidget spinner. On the back, I have got a beefy lanyard in the very specifically designed for a lanyard hole here. 2 different beads from EDC Booze. We've got this really cool cube sort of design, not quite a cube, but just about. And then this double fatty micarta on some black paracord. Just showing off for the micarta mafia, being a micarta mafioso. Now, I use this thing as a fidget spinner exclusively. This thing is made out of micarta. Micarta is a very strong and very flexible material. It is heat resistant, it is weather resistant. It can take a beating, but it is only so strong. And compared to metal, this little tiny hook right here on the mouth that is the bottle opener is not big enough and not strong enough to actually pop bottles. People have commented in other videos asking if there's like a metal piece in here. No, this was a solid sheet of micarta that they water cut, I don't know, maybe it's laser cut. And they cut out in this design that Tom does also in metal. This is an art piece and a fidget toy. It fits the theme of this pouch dump. It's made by the same maker of the pouch. I play with it all the time. It's a great desk toy. It's a great just thing to do with your hands. I am just a nervous guy who constantly needs to channel that nervous energy into a fidget toy all of the time. This being just a hole with a lanyard on the back of it. Whatever hand you feel like you're able to do a fidget flow with, you can. I think that it's great to be able to throw it and not really worry about hitting it and breaking it because micarta is strong enough to withstand drops and stuff like that. You can bang the micarta beads off the back of it, and the worst that's going to happen is you're going to get some more patina on your micarta. I love it because this material is just so chaotic and random. There is literally a black linen cloth that has been inlaid inside a resin epoxy material and then hardened. There's no way that that's going to be any kind of perfect design. And then when you cut it, that design is going to become even more unique. This thing takes on its own life and look because every bit of it is just so fibrous and so different. It absorbs the oils in your skin and it gets that lovely patina that I am so all about. So yeah, the notorious EDC beer bomb in micarta for the guy that doesn't really drink. Just slide that dude right here in the back of the pouch. Make sure that the mouth is sticking out so when you take your lovely photo of this spread for Instagram, everyone's gonna see how hot it looks. And of course you can't forget about one of the most essential pieces of EDC gear in any carry. That is the hank. The hank is one of the most versatile cleaning tools that you could carry on you. This one here is from Awesome Hanks and my buddy here on YouTube and Instagram, Barbarian Brawny. Shout out to you, buddy. Link in the description. Check out his channel for some cool EDC content. This is just a rad pirate treasure map. It's got this cool Skull Island sort of look to it. Got a compass rose in the corner. This sort of old looking document edging around it. And then Awesome Hank's sort of signature move, they put these lanyards in a little metal eyelet. I think it's brass, with a little brass bead on the edge of all of their hanks. This allegedly adds to your ability to deploy the hank. These things are micro hanks, as I like to call them. They're super duper small. They fold up to nearly nothing. So you can just throw that into a fifth pocket or something, find the little lanyard, and as soon as you pull it out, you can just hold the bead and the whole thing will unfold on its own. Now, can you just kind of grab the corner of a hank and do that? Yes, but does it look cooler when you just sort of are holding it here by this? Absolutely. And it's just little design details like that that I think can make a product a little bit cooler. This hank is microfiber backed on one side and then the cotton printing on the other. Use the microfiber side for cleaning lenses and phone screens and things of that nature. And then the cotton side is for snot and for sweat. There are tons of awesome hank makers out there, like Renegade Provisions Company, Damn Hanks, Ace of Hanks, Mad Pal Clothworks, and then Awesome Hanks like I talked about today. Just get on Etsy and look up hanks and just grab a couple that you think look good. I totally suggest getting a microfiber and cotton backed one because it's easier to clean delicate devices with a microfiber side. And my son just thinks it feels so good on his face. So, you know, your mileage may vary on that, but I think a hank is a great and super important tool for you to carry with you every day. Find something you like. And that, my friends, is the Pouch Dump episode for this week. I want to thank everybody who has watched the video all the way to this point, and I'm going to offer you a discount code at datacrewla.com. XERO15 gets you 15% off your whole order. Buy some pouches, patches, t-shirts, whatever you want, and grab yourself 15% off. A little discount thanks from me to you. No kickbacks over here from me. Just straight hookups from the sweet dudes at the Data Crew. That being said, I was sent this pouch from Tom at Notorious EDC about a year ago when it first dropped as a review piece, and I am still rocking it to this day. It is one of my favorite pouches to put into another bag and organize the gear. I took this on vacation with me. It was the perfect accoutrement to being inside of a bag filled with other gear I may or may not need. Hey, if no one has told you today, you are a rad person who deserves love and praise just like everybody else in this world. Get out there today, have some fun, be nice, and I'll see you in the next one. Later on. What are you still doing here? Wait, you want more? You're not done. You want to see more. Like this video's not long enough already? You want to see more? Alright man, let's do it! From Cosmonute Customs, this is the Black Galaxy Teardrop Experimental Omen. This is a couple pieces of brass, the circles on the interior and exterior, and then who knows what this magic resin stuff is on the inside. It's got an entire galaxy put all on the inside of here. Stare deeply into the void of the Black Galaxy Omen and let your worries and troubles fade away. Put it on your finger like a ring and spin it infinitely, round and round, forward or backwards, on any finger, on any hand, however you so desire. These omens are a very nice weight, especially the metal ones. This one also has an experimental acid-etched finish on the exterior, and then just this totally different than normal teardrop shape. Omens are worry stones. Just like anything else, they can be used or misused. If you wanted to put this thing on your finger and punch somebody in the face, I mean, that would hurt. But I don't suggest doing that with a piece of pocket art like this, the Cosmonute Omen. I also recently got a new book. I've been looking for this for a while. This is House of Leaves by Mark Z. Denelal. Okay, I'm not even going to try and pronounce his last name. This is House of Leaves. This book is pretty crazy. You know, the introduction seems okay. As you go through the pages, you start noticing the formatting is kind of a little weirder and off. Next thing you know, you're lost in pages like this, where the text is at an angle on both sides. Things are redacted. Words are crossed out or highlighted. The word house always appears in blue in this book. There's just, it's not like another book that I've read before. Like, look at this page, man. The intersection here is mirrored compared to the other page. And there's like 6 different font sizes on here. This is like the writings of a madman and a non-Euclidean geometry house and people's experience there. I've read like the first chapter of this basically, and I'm pretty hooked. So yeah, House of Leaves, that's what I'm reading right now if you're interested. How about this knife? This is from Justin Lindquist, one of my favorite knife designers, and Civivi Knives. This is the Civivi Lumi. This is an OTF front flipper knife. That means that behind these micarta scales, the only deployment mechanism is this teeny tiny little flipper tab that's sticking right here out the front. It's not the easiest thing in the world to grip. You can get the inner index finger flick sometimes. I honestly feel like sometimes I'm better with my left hand with this knife. Use this knife ambidextrously because the only deployment mechanism is this teeny tiny little flipper tab that's almost impossible for you to get at. It's not easy. It is frustrating as hell. But I just love the clean design of this knife, man. The micarta scales, the almost invisible way to deploy it. There's nothing going on here, man. There's no lanyard hole, just this deep carry pocket clip that's gonna go all the way down into the depths. The blade is really pointy here. It's like the longest drop point I've ever seen. I'm not sure if this is a saber grind or I'm not sure the name of this, but it's pokey and it's tricky to use. I want to like this knife so bad, but it's not easy. It's not effortless like every fucking other one of my knives are, and just, I don't know. I want to get the Baby Barlow, which is another out-the-front flipper knife, but if I dislike being able to deploy this knife so much, just not in the cards, I think. Maybe it's because this is a production knife made by Civivi. It's not a Justin Lindquist I'm used to with the amazing Kaiser Feist. Maybe Civivi just sucks compared to Kaiser, too. That also could be part of it. Maybe it's just the design. I don't know, man. But this knife, this is like a fucking guillotine. Just barely get your fingers out of the way in time before this thing closes, or get your nail nick on with this thing. but man, Justin Lindquist makes the best knives. Why do I have a thing with people with the letter J as knife designers, whether it's Justin Lindquist, or Jonathan McNeese, or Justin Koch? I just have a thing for knife designers whose names start with the letter J. Maybe that's just all there is. Hey, knife designers out there who start with a J, hit me up. All right, for real. That is the end of the video. I got nothing else. I got nothing else for you. Get out of here. Go watch one of my other videos. You want to hear me ramble some more. I'll see you later. Have a good one. Later.